Welcome to AI news that you should know about for the week of October 2nd. I'm your host, Ashley Coffey.
And I'm Daniel Hill. Every week, in about 15 minutes or so, we cover all the AI news stories that you need to know about. This week, we'll be talking about an AI-generated actress who has been getting a lot of heat from the Actors Union. We'll be talking about Meta's plans to sell targeted ads based on your data from your AI chats. And two AI apps with social media feeds. The Meta AI app now has a feed called Vibes, and ChatGPT has launched its own social media app with Sora.
A lot of exciting things to cover on our show today, but first, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back. Let's dive in. Our top story this week, this AI-generated actress named Tilly draws a lot of heat from Actors Union. So let's talk about it. You probably have seen it. The Hollywood Performers Union condemns this AI-generated actress named Tilly Norwood. And if you've seen images of her, she's very young, very fresh, very someone that you would see that's a fresh new actor on the scene. And this sparked a lot of buzz because, as you would imagine, AI experts are kind of concerned about this, but also actors are like, what the heck is going on? So here's what happened. The official Tilly Norwood launch consisted of a 20-second appearance of a photoreal character. She's 20-something, bearing no particular resemblance to any celebrity, in a brief video parodying Making About AI-generated television show. So this Dutch actor-producer is the one that created Tilly Norwood and said during her presentation that the project was starting to turn heads, obviously. So after facing months of boardroom skepticism, talent agents were starting to tell her, quote, "We need to do something with you guys," which is interesting. So, nevertheless, the prospect of talent agents suddenly showing interest in AI-created figures stirred a denunciation from SAG-AFTRA, who represents about 160,000 actors, announcers, and recording artists and stunt performers. So, also, it was interesting. I saw a comment from someone to say, hey, Hollywood got what they wanted, a young actress that they can always control. And I was like, oh, that's a little on the nose there. What are your thoughts, Daniel?
That feels incredibly accurate. Two things. So, first, I think about all the actors and actresses who have reputations for being difficult to work with for whatever reason. They show up to set late, they show up to set inebriated, whatever. Having an AI person in that mix, eliminating the need for a human who can go off the rails or not show up on time is probably a good thing. But having said that, I believe that the strike, whether I think it was 2 years ago, that was part of the actors and writers taking steps to prevent this from happening. So it almost makes me wonder, what was all that fight for, where we didn't have our shows for some time, where a lot of people in California and other places where they make TV shows were picketing and trying to stand up for their rights to protect their futures, to protect their jobs, to protect their income. And it seems like that could potentially be taken away at some point in the near future. Job creation is a really important thing for a lot of people. How do you feed your families? How do you keep your bills paid? AI is tempting to make things cheaper, but at the end of the day, who's even going to pay for these things if the people who would normally have jobs to pay for them no longer can? So I think this is a very interesting story for sure.
And it's related too. Like in Oklahoma here, I can spot AI from a mile away. And I've noticed some jewelry companies have started using AI models in their ads for billboards. And I've seen some AI art used for like bus wraps for advertising. So like it's definitely in the wild, whether or not you notice it or not. We'll see what happens with this Tilly Norwood actress.
Let's talk about Meta's plans to sell targeted ads based on data in your AI chats. They announced this on Wednesday, that they're going to sell targeted ads across all their social media platforms based on what you've been giving their AI products. This is going to start on December 18th. Now, this has long been a plan of Meta's to build detailed profiles of all of its users, whether Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, to sell them targeted ads. And they've always offered advertisers a way to do that. But this is the first time that they'll be able to build off that data that they're getting from AI. So if you've written things into Meta's AI, they can now use those things to advertise to you. This also means that Meta may use data from the Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses, including video recordings, pictures, and videos that are analyzed with AI. to further target its ad products. There is no way to opt out, according to Meta. Ashley, what are your thoughts on this?
Not surprised. I saw this coming from a million miles away. Seriously, though, I actually made a chatbot, a Meta AI chatbot for my business account, Coffee and Consult, and I named it Tech Tips Trixie as like a resource to ask for tech tips and not have to feel ashamed for asking things like, how do I reset my password? Some of the things that people need to ask but are afraid to. And ever since Meta has been really leaning into this chatbot, the usage has like spiked exponentially. I've been getting notifications that it's had like over 5,000 conversations, and I see none of
Wow.
that. I see none of
Wow.
that. So the fact that one, I've created and curated a chatbot that interacts with people on my behalf because it's my company, Instagram, and I don't see a single thing of that, but Meta does. That means like I am the producer. That means I am the laborer. I am the person bringing the person to the platform. So I don't know how I feel about that, but in this world, of course, Meta wants to be the first to be able to harvest all that data in meaningful ways using AI. So I'm not surprised.
You would think they would let you see the chat so you could make informed decisions about your business and what content to create based off that. But clearly, that's a discussion for another time.
Yeah, wild times.
We are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the AI apps that now have social media feeds from Meta and ChatGPT. Welcome back. Let's continue with our next stories. There are two companies now that have AI apps with social media feeds. Meta's AI app has a feed called Vibes, which is all about creating and sharing short form AI generated videos like TikTok or Instagram Reels, but essentially just 100% AI generated. Additionally, OpenAI has announced ChatGPT's Sora, which is a social media app where users can generate videos of themselves and their friends to share in a TikTok style feed. Now, what's interesting about this is the Sora app has an upload yourself feature called Cameos, which allows users to drop themselves into any Sora generated scenes. If you want your likeness to be part of this app and be able to be used to generate AI videos, you upload a one-time video and audio recording of yourself to verify your identity and give your appearance. What I really like about this OpenAI Cameo feature is you can also share your likeness, your Cameo, with your friends. So you can give others permission to include your likeness in videos that they are generating, including videos of multiple people together. There's more to this story, but let's just pause right here. Ashley, what do you think so far of this concept in general?
I'm torn because on one hand, I'm like, this is so cool. I can't wait to use it. But on the other hand, I'm like, what happens if someone abuses this, right? Which is
Right,
highly
right.
possible. So yesterday I watched a bunch of iJustine videos of how she was using it, and I was like, this is very fun, it's very entertaining. And it seems to be really, I would say, crisp. You would not know it's AI just by the naked eye if you weren't informed in advance. I will say I've seen a combination or a comparison between Google's VO3 and Sora and what that looks like of how it handles physics. And it looks like it's not quite there sophisticated yet on how it handles physics, but I have a feeling it's going to train itself very quickly. But we should do a some kind of collaboration now.
I would love to do that. And to me, that's really the interesting part of this Cameo is the ability to create videos with my friends without them physically being there, without us needing to be on a Zoom together, or even if we're creating a skit or something like that. You don't have to come to my house. I don't have to drive to your house. If you agree that I can use your likeness and you're okay with the content before I post it, that we can ask AI to generate that content for us. Is it as fun? No, but we've saved a lot of time and we can generate content faster. So maybe that is different, fun in a different way. I don't know. But I think that's something that is a really good use case. And for someone who's busy or doesn't have time to create content, to be able to do that with others without traveling is a concept I absolutely love.
We're a great use case for that. You're in New Jersey, I'm in Oklahoma. We've always wanted to do some kind of like fun video collaboration together. Yes, it'd be
Yes.
amazing to be in the same place, but what better way to kind of simulate that and bring some of that to the audience without having to, hop on a plane and but I will be there eventually. We will be in person eventually.
Yes. Now, there are some cons about this. OpenAI Sora app that I want to get into. So first, there's an OpenAI pre-training researcher named John Hallman, and he said in a post on X, quote, AI-based feeds are scary. I won't deny that I felt some concern when I first learned that we were releasing Sora 2. That said, I think the team did the absolute best job they possibly could in designing a positive experience. We're going to do our best to make sure AI helps and does not hurt humanity. End quote. As we were about to start recording this, I saw that TechCrunch had an article about how this app was now filled with terrifying Sam Altman deepfakes, where people had taken his image, his likeness, his voice, and created content around that. It's very concerning that you could so easily create content with someone else's image, likeness, voice, and people might accept that as real. Obviously, this is not the first time we've seen anything like that, but having a feed that's just AI content gives so much opportunity for this. A lot of cons. Ashley, what are your thoughts?
I agree. Like, I would be, as a business owner and a podcaster, I would be terrified if I saw a video floating around of me saying something that I would never say or doing something that I would never do. And that has serious reputational risks, both personally and professionally. So this is very dangerous territory. So I would recommend only collaborating with people that you trust and be careful about the people that you collaborate with that you don't know. It's a slippery slope, and a lot of things are coming that we are just not prepared for as a society. And this is one of them. Another one that I heard yesterday is the ability to create, like, we're really close to the ability to create designer babies, of take it together and be able to choose the attributes of, I want a baby to be blonde or have brown eyes and to be a
Eventually
girl.
6 feet tall or whatever.
Yes,
Yes, you're right.
we're not ready for this. It's kind of wild, but it's happening in real time in front of our eyes.
I really hope that OpenAI put in more protections, whatever are necessary to prevent that from happening, that no one can take your likeness based on videos or other, even just people walking around and take a video of them and upload it and be able to use their likeness. So hoping that there are more security measures put in place to prevent that kind of going forward.
Me too.
That is it for our AI news that you should know about this week. And now, Ashley's tech tip of the week.
I've been doing a lot of things lately, surprise, surprise, and I always like to lean into my technology to help me make more informed decisions, especially when it comes to running a business. So specifically, what I do is I have my own custom ChatGPT for my business. It's my virtual business manager. I call it my virtual business manager. And how I use it, of course, it's all safe and secure. Nothing is used to train the language learning model of OpenAI. But what I do is I put my client meeting notes, I put my client proposals, my client service agreements in there. So that way I can quickly access that information. So, for example, yesterday I was doing a client meeting, and while I was prepping in advance for the agenda and kind of an update, I asked my virtual ChatGPT, the Coffee and Console business manager, hey, look at this contract and tell me the specific deliverables that we're still on the hook for, so to speak, and the ones that we've already taken care of by looking at the notes and the context from previous meetings of X client. So within less than 5 minutes, two, it's able to look at my service agreement, look at my notes, and make determinations on what deliverables have already been filled and what deliverables are left. Now, that for me as a business owner is huge. That saves me time. That lets me get to like the critical updates of what a business wants to hear about. I cannot speak enough highly things about that. So I am one person. I've been here for 2 years. And if anyone can do it, so can you.
That is great. I love that. You can find links to everything we've talked about today in the show notes, and you can connect with us on social media. We'd love to hear what you think of the show and how we can improve. You can find me at Daniel Hill Media on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube.
And thank you for listening to today's episode of AI News That You Should Know About. If you want a little bit more tech talk, you can find me on Instagram at AshleyRCoffee89. And you can find my other podcast called Coffee and Code anywhere you get your podcasts, where we demystify emerging technologies by interviewing leaders in the field who are doing cool stuff. But if you're curious about taking the next step into your AI journey, we'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram or email or LinkedIn, wherever you can find me. I'm very accessible online, but would love to hear what you're thinking when it comes to AI.
Thank you so much for listening, and come back next week for more AI news that you should know about.